Hello, all you beautiful people in Webtown. Welcome back to another fun-filled day of Rob Liefeld Appreciation Season here on Crypto Comics. And today, we are going to find out what happened to the lovely ladies of Liefeld when Awesome Entertainment closed its doors. Alan Moore had just started writing Glory for Rob Liefeld's Awesome Entertainment when the doors were shuttered. And we were all left very disappointed. At least those of us who were Rob Liefeld fans were left disappointed. But there was another company that picked up the ball before it was dropped. And that was Avatar Press. Avatar Press is an independent American comic book publisher founded in 1996 by William A. Christensen and based in Rantoul, Illinois. Avatar is most notable for publishing Bad Girl comics, such as Faust, Pandora, Brian Pulido's Lady Death, and some of the comics you see here before you, which we're going to go through. But this is a preview of Alan Moore's Glory, and I found this rather interesting. Alan teamed up with Marat Michaels, who would handle the pencils here, and they began to tell a story called Glory and the Gate of Tears. And this is just a little tease. This is one of those perfect books. If you're a colorist, you could easily pick this up on mycomicshop.com, which is probably the only place you'd be able to find this. This is the Glory preview. And you could actually be coloring this next weekend. Practicing your skills as a young colorist. Oh, in Coven, we're going to talk about that too here. That's a lot of nice covers there, eh? So Alan did 3 issues here. We'll just start here, because this is a retread of the Glory issue number 0 that was published by Awesome Entertainment. It's the same story. It's penciled by Brandon Peterson very well. This is, I wish comics looked like this during this time period. This still looked like a comic book. And we'll see as Liefeld's inking style evolved, he no longer had Danny Meeke inking him, and he was doing a lot of inking himself. And it really changed the look and feel of his comic books. I prefer much more this traditional comic book style that those of us who grew up in the 90s are accustomed to. She got remember this? Yeah, I know you do, if you've been watching here and paying attention. This is actually really interesting. This is the illustrated story of Glory throughout history. Amenarax Books. Tingle ting. 3 p.m., just like clockwork. Good day to you, little Anna. Wow, little Anna is not so little. Hi, Mr. A. Got anything new for me today? Ah, yes, something very special. I think you'll find this book quite interesting. Now, hunker down in your corner and let me get my work done. Glory. Princess Gloriana Demeter is an Amazonian warrior with the heart of a demon. The product of a union between the goddess Demeter and the demonic Lord Silverfall, Glory combined the beauty and ferocity of both her parents. Yet was raised in her mother's world. Joseph Michael Linsner, best known for Dawn, clearly did this painting. Suspended in the swirling colors of the chromotion, the island of paradise is but one of the names given to the realm of the goddess Demeter. Some cultures call it the heavenly archipelago. Others call it the celestial stepping stone. But its real name is Thule, Ultima Thule, the island beyond the material world. It was here that young Glory was trained as an Amazonian warrior, but it eventually became clear that the savagery of Princess Gloriana owed less to her Amazonian birthright than it did to the inheritance of her demon father's blood. At home in neither of her parents' dimensions, Glory used the natural magic that exists where air meets water and darkness meets light to slip into the world of man. In her absence, the majority of Glory's Amazonian sisters fell prey to a death-like sleep of enchantment, watched over by Lady Demeter and a handful of attendants, while Princess Gloriana went on to become one of the Earth's greatest heroines. Settling in the United States circa 1940, Glory joined forces with men such as Supreme, Roman, and Die Hard to create the Allied Supermen of America. Together, these stalwart heroes battled the Axis powers throughout World War II, earning themselves a place of honor in the annals of history and in the hearts of freedom lovers everywhere. During her time with the Allied Supermen, Glory became intimately involved with Earth's mightiest hero, Supreme. Their affair lasted for many years, and their love, like their lives, was the stuff of legend. Following the breakup of the Allied Supermen in 1950, Glory spent some time with a group of crime-solving schoolgirls known as the Danger Damsels before rejoining her former comrades in 1960. With the addition of Space Hunter, Professor Knight, and Mighty Man, this new team dubbed itself the Allies and faced all manner of bizarre threats, such as Florax the Dominator and Prismalo the Painter. In 1969, Supreme, feeling he had seen and accomplished all he could on Earth, departed for deep space, leaving Glory heartbroken and precipitating the disbanding of the Allies the following year. Almost 30 years later, Supreme returned, and one of his first priorities was to visit Glory, who was somewhat less than thrilled to see her old flame again. Glory and Supreme eventually reconciled their differences and briefly became members of Brigade, joining their old friend Roman and the 3,000-year-old Troll, among others. Glory returned to a solo career following the breakup of Brigade, but she continued to encounter extraordinary beings of great beauty and power, such as the fallen angel Avengelyne and the resurrected angel, known as Celestine. As the second millennium dawned on Earth, Glory established a civilian identity for herself as a waitress in a diner so that she could truly experience human existence. Though she shares a human body, she can summon up her true aspect and all of her divine abilities at will, and this Glory is ever at the ready to confront the danger, mystery, violence, and evil that seem to follow her wherever she goes. Hey, what the hell? Mr. A, this book is totally cool, but most of the pages are blank. What's the deal? This book, dear Anna, chronicles the life of Princess Gloriana Demeter, an immortal goddess. The blank pages are there to be filled with her many adventures yet to come. Filled by who? By posterity, of course. Now let's put the book back on the shelf and see what develops. Do you think there will be anything new by tomorrow? I'm not sure, child. You'll just have to come see for yourself, won't you? The end, for now. We're going to get into bigger dicks. Stranger Kisses. This kind of looks interesting. I'm not a big fan of this art style, but anything that looks, relatively noir and has a palm tree in it, that's going to appeal to me. I'm pretty simple. Web Witch. I don't know about all this stuff that they're doing there at Avatar Press, but you know what? They've managed to stay in business for a long time doing their thing. And then this story continues in issue 1 and issue 2. Unfortunately, and these we saw in the preview, some of these Marat Michael pages for the story of the Gate of Tears. Lilith has a great appearance in this. And this is interesting. She's reading a comic book about Glory, and so we just switched to this, which is very unique. And this is going to tell some of the origin of Glory. It's something that you might want to pick up. I'm not sure what was going on with Alan Moore at this moment in time. He seemed really into comics of the 1950s and 60s and was bringing that into not only Glory here, but also his run on Supreme that went from Image into Awesome Entertainment and then back to Image. And unfortunately, Glory and the Gate of Tears, only these 2 chapters exist. The book was left incomplete, so you could go out and buy these, but the story is not going to be completely told. I'm sorry about that. It happens though, right? Let's keep moving on, shall we? Avatar also very smartly picked up the rights to Avengelyne, and here we have a very, very kinky cover by Sean Shaw. This is Seraphicide. This is a self-contained story with artwork by Rick Lyon and a story by Robert Lugiebel. I'm not sure. This is a name that you can't help but get wrong. It happens. Colors by Nimbus. This didn't do much for me. It was simple and didn't really feel like it belonged in the world of Avengelyne that had been set up for so long. Oh, to be continued. I was wrong. This isn't a one-shot, but it was the only issue of this to come out. And that seems to be par for the course for a lot of these Avatar books featuring bad girls. I think they maybe should have just stuck to, 2-issue or 3-issue miniseries, rather than just trying to sell comics based on hot chicks on the cover, which this absolutely does, and it did, but it must not have done well enough because they didn't put out part 2. And so maybe you cannot rely just on sexy babes on the cover. That's going to sell you a first issue, limited to 3,000 no less. But it's not going to compel people to want to come buy the next issue. Believe it or not, this isn't even the first issue. This is issue 1/2. Half of a comic book here. All for the low price of $4.95. Whatever. So Avengelyne didn't last at Avatar, but the Coven certainly seemed to. If you recall the Coven from Ian Churchill and Awesome Entertainment. This is very beautifully drawn by Al Rio. I am a big fan of Al Rio's art. Stands up there with Roger Cruz, in my opinion, if you remember Youngblood Volume 2 that we did a little while back. And this is a story about spellcaster Sasha Colin. And as you can see, it's stunning. It's amazing. This artwork actually really reminds me of my friend Josh Spencer, who was to be the artist on Megawatt versus the Vampires of the Sun, our failed Kickstarter campaign. It happens. You win some, you lose some. We will be back, though. Believe it or not, we will be back. And out of all of the stuff that was put out by Avatar, the only thing worth picking up would actually be the Coven stuff. So if you're a fan of Coven, this will not disappoint. They also did a 2-issue miniseries called Dark Sister, which also features the lovely Sasha Colin, spellcaster. This is written and drawn by Matt Martin, also with colors by Nimbus. And this is cool. I prefer, to be honest, I would prefer having Ian Churchill's art in this. I'm not sure why Ian relinquished the rights. I'd be interested in hearing from anybody who knows how Avatar got a hold of all of the rights to the ladies of Awesome Entertainment. Please let me know in the comments below. It's nice art. I just feel that my boy could be drawn a little stronger, but wait, there's going to be more. As you can see, this is beautiful. And does it have an ending? I'll sneak a peek. I believe it does. Yeah, it does. This does have an ending. This is a 2-part miniseries you can actually pick up and not be disappointed with at the end, which is what I am saying about the Coven at Avatar. That's the reason I would recommend them, because you actually get a complete story. If you were not getting a complete story, like with Glory by Alan Moore, I would suggest just avoiding it. And you'd think that because it's written by Alan Moore, people would be picking it up. It'd be interesting to see how that story ends off. Like a lot of this Rob Liefeld stuff that I've been talking about here, and maybe introducing some of you newcomers to, there's a lot of stories left undone. And it really was cool when they did Bloodstrike Brutalist this past year. That helped to complete a story nearly 25 years in the making. Bloodstrike ended at, I believe, issue 22, but there was also an issue 25 from the Images of Tomorrow. If you go into the Image Comics playlists here on Crypto Comics, you will find the Images of Tomorrow covered. And you can find out a lot more about that. And then they did the Coven Tooth and Nail, which has art by Ron Adrian, story by Robert Lugibile? I don't know. Sorry, Robert. This one, the art is nothing to write home about for me personally. It doesn't seem like these characters fit in this artistic style, in my opinion. It's way too cartoonish, and I like a little bit more seriousness. I'm fine with the art in Dark Sister. We can just look here. See, when you compare these, this is more my forte. This is more something I would have in an all-ages book, this type of art style. Seems to appeal to children more than to me as an adult, at least, and I think most adults probably. But this is another tale, and this one I believe also to be continued. Oh no, it just ends. That's right, it just ends. And you're like, hey, what is this? Is this supposed to just end? What is this? So you might want to avoid Tooth and Nail, but I would definitely recommend the Dark Sister 2-issue miniseries and the Spellcaster standalone one-shot, because these will keep you entertained and will give you another little taste of the Coven. Unfortunately, the Coven has just pretty much disappeared from fanboys' collective memory. And so we're stuck living the memories here on Crypto Comics, which we will continue to do. Because I've talked to you about what happened to the ladies of awesome entertainment. We've been lucky enough to find out, but we still have much more to cover. Because while the ladies went to Avatar Press, what happened to Youngblood? Well, we are going to find out tomorrow what happened to Youngblood when we take a trip into Rob Liefeld's third comic book publishing company, the short-lived Arcade Comics. If you liked this video, please share it with your friends. Let them know about the bad girl craze that absolutely dominated the comic book industry in the 1990s. If you are down with the bad girl craze, please, thumbs up. That'd be nice if you hit that. If you're new, subscribe, hit that ding dong for notifications. And then get ready, because tomorrow we will continue our journey into the infinite world of Rob Liefeld right back here on Crypto Comics.